Welcome. Are you ready to rise? This podcast is for the woman who is ready to soften her edges and find expansion in her life and relationships. At the core, you know your feminine flame has been dampened, and you're ready to stoke the fire with holistic tools for radical responsibility. You want to be seen and honored as the goddess you are, and you're ready for deep self-inquiry so you may reside in your feminine spirit. My name is Yogi Sophie. I am here to exist as your mirror and be a fountain of resources for you to make sovereign decisions regarding wellness, birth, and life as nature sees it from an empowered, educated place. May your cup be filled to the brim. I'm in my closet right now in the dark. It is about 11 p.m. and here to talk about what this baby is teaching me. It's definitely been an interesting ride. One full of all sorts of beautiful lessons I am very willing to learn. Willing to clear out anything and everything that doesn't need to be here for this next chapter. I welcome it. I welcome it all. What have some of these challenges been? Some of my early ones has been the challenge of maintaining belief in myself and what I am knowing. Because even though I have taken a wild approach to pregnancy and have limited the opinions and perspectives that come into my space about me or this baby, there are still some that have slipped through. And the funny thing is I feel like they've been very light situations that have come in and totally rattled me. And I just cannot. It puts me in this position where if I can be rattled by something so, again, light was the best word I have for it, then goodness, no wonder women are so rattled when they're in the system and told all sorts of scary things. No wonder. There's this feeling of guilt or shame that comes up if you're doing what you think is best versus what everyone else or the mainstream thinks is best. And I didn't realize how much of a cord of attachment that I would have to that, but it's definitely there. I've had situations where people insisted I had twins growing, which in hindsight is ridiculous, considering the stature of my husband, considering I started eating really well again, started eating animal products and highly nutritional foods. And I was slowing down physically because the exhaustion of working out translated into everything else I was doing. And I had a decent sized belly somewhat early on, but not abnormal. And I felt one, and I knew one. I suppose, I'm sitting here right now still not really knowing, but
my gut definitely says, and the kicks definitely feel like one. And to allow myself, my belief in myself, and the approach of it is what it is and acceptance, to be so rattled by these comments really took me aback. But it was a great entry challenge into learning to stand my ground, to learning to let things roll off my back. That presented as another challenge a step up today when during my acupuncture appointment where I was talking about my chronic constipation and the bloat, it was all of a sudden very intensely suggested that I get a gestational diabetes test, even though those aren't symptoms of gestational diabetes. But that feeling came up again of, well, first it was a little bit of frustration in working with someone who I thought was more, an acupuncturist of Chinese medicine, trying to take the natural route. And then it to be suggested that I take this terrible poisonous drink test. First frustrated me. And then that feeling revealed itself again of being challenged, being rattled by the what if. Even though I know that I'm perfectly healthy, and so is this baby. My energy is wonderful, and I'm not even drinking caffeine. My attitude is fairly good, and yeah, everything's going well except for the constipation, which is definitely being fixed and probably caused by stressful factors and the fact that Vata season is upon us, and I have a lot of Vata tendencies. And what's nice is I was able to catch myself before spiraling into worry and I should do this and I should do that, letting that guilt come in of I'm not doing enough or I'm doing things too differently. And I called someone I trusted to talk about it and reaffirmed what I felt and knew, and now I'm good with it. And that's a good place to be. And something else that has come up something I realized today is as we know, I'm a fighter, and one of the big lessons during this pregnancy is knowing when to fight and realizing I'm so tired of fighting everything, anything, and everything. It sounds like it wants to control me or others. And I have to learn to step back and not engage in those things that activate this side of me. It's just not the time, and I've done it my whole life. And that's a trait that, while I want to maintain the fighter for when she's needed, it's a trait I would like to release. It's a trait that needs to take a back burner instead of being the predominant force in my frequency and in my attitude towards everyone and everything. Because it keeps me in fear. It keeps me on alert. It keeps me disconnected from others because I have such a hard time seeing eye to eye when all I can see is you're being played. part of what has come up for me today regarding this topic is realizing that fighter status, that default of mine, is inhibiting me from seeing the real reason that I'm into free birthing to begin with. It's inhibiting me from feeling connected to my baby, I believe. And I realized I created an ideology around free birth, like a badge of honor, something to use as another tool to wave about and tell people, you're being controlled, you're being played. And while I definitely understand the obstetric system, the medical system, are tools of the devil in a big way, not 100%, but in a big way. I've made an ideology out of it. I've made it like this thing I have to prove, as I do with everything else in life. And again, that fighting energy, that's not what's welcome or needed here right now. And I don't welcome it in right now. And so I realize by doing that, it's keeping me from seeing the real purpose of this, these intentions, which is to ensure that this child and myself are entering this new space, entering this world, getting these new experiences in the purest way possible, in the healthiest way possible, to reduce psychological, emotional trauma, physical trauma, so we can raise beings that don't have to deal with all the shit that humanity's had to deal with, so that we can raise human beings who know what it's like to feel whole for their lives. Bless you, Smidge. So that we can feel the love and connection and the divinity that is creating life. Being a living human. The point is to see the magic, to experience it all. And to free birth is to make your own choices around it, whatever that may be. And so I am very much vowing to shift my attitude and my habits. No more doom scrolling for comments I disagree with on Instagram. Drastically reducing the amount of conspiracy theory videos that I watch, regardless if I believe them or not. And trying to just accept things as they come and not fight every little thing, and just realize everyone's in a different place on their own path of awakening. And there is nothing I can do unless they ask me. There is nothing I can do but serve me and this baby for our highest goods. And right now, that's to feel whole and happy and joyful. And take it easy. And to stand in my integrity. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. You can find out more about me and my work and download your free ebook, The Birthing Woman's Guide to Self-Inquiry, at yogisophie.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at yogisophie7. May your life be filled to the brim. See you next time.